This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff without Alex.
Boo.
Yeah, I think he's typically not here. He's truly just a guest star at this point.
It is the summertime, and Alex is not working, but somewhere on a beach.
Sipping something strong.
And there's your snippet from Sam right there.
There is a high likelihood that Alex is inebriated in, around, on a beach.
I mean, it's guaranteed. I don't know about likelihood. It is sold.
So Alex has told me that he and his family are avid karaokeers. And on their beach trips, they usually find karaoke bars and have a good time.
Oh,
All right.
we need video proof for this.
I have seen it. I have seen the video proof. What real quick, what do we think Alex and his family is like a favorite song? I don't know the answer to this, but this will be a fun exercise.
I can see Alex swinging Sweet Caroline just to yell "Eat shit, pit"
Yeah, yeah,
as possible.
It's a good thought. I like that.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Country
go.
Roads is coming out.
Yes, Country Roads. If Q Country Roads is an option, I can also see that happening. I also feel like the family might be like down for like a traditional karaoke song from Journey.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop believing.
Yeah. I feel like that's a showstopper no matter where you go. And if you got a group of people, you can make that a fun time. Other thoughts, Jim?
Oh, I'm good. That's
Good.
where I was landing.
Today is Monday, July 22nd, and it's, I guess, official. The dog days are truly here.
Feels like it. But we've had relief. Relief in the form of college football being back.
College football is back in a different way, but there is opportunity there. So we're going to try to talk about sports. Some of these things may be amusing because we may not have much to chat about. So it's up to you whether you tune in or not. But we do have light at the end of the tunnel because this is the first week we break down a division in the NFL in preparation for the true football season. This week we talk about the NFC East.
Do we always start there? Because I feel like we do.
Typically, it was because it was the NFC least. Yeah, we usually start with the NFC East, not gonna lie. I think it just adds up that way many times. As always, thanks to everybody interacting with our content on social media. Make sure you catch us on YouTube. You can see us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review.
Get the bell on.
We have some people that have some new hats recently. I don't know if we can shout them out specifically. There's some of our loyal guests, I will say, and we have a few more in the hopper for some giveaways in the next month or two. Before we get into some football news this week, Nate was on the officiating crew for the OVAC All-Star game this past weekend. Nate, how was that experience? The good, the bad, the ugly? How'd it go down?
It was a pretty good experience. Got to work with some people I don't really ever get to work with a whole lot outside of the varsity. So it's really, like Jim was saying, college football's back to us. It's like the high school football season is literally around the corner. We're about a month out. Great game overall, pretty evenly matched. Ended up first tie in OVAC football All-Star game history, which is kind of cool in a way to say you're part of history, but at the same time, it's like just play overtime. Got to be on the new turf down at Wheeling Island Stadium. It's pretty nice, very soft surface, and kind of let the kids get away with a little bit more than they normally would. So,
in the way of celebrating and
yeah, like they even told us like pre-games, let them celebrate, let them spike the ball, do whatever, as long as they're not taunting the other team or doing something completely outrageous. They're like fouls, let them get away with a little bit more other than like the blatant false starts or an egregious hold or something like that. Kind of just let them play a little bit loose. So,
how many flags did you throw?
One.
I saw it.
Was it for false start, holding?
Yeah, false start.
When you did you make any hand gestures like Shohei after he steals second base?
Not to the camera,
So you did it off camera.
maybe.
Okay, there we go. Nate doing a little hand signals there. As Jim alluded to, college football is back, but in the form of, I don't even know if I'm gonna get this right, NCAA 2K College Football 2025. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah.
Why do we have this long
I
name?
don't know. I'm sure there's a reason out there. All that matters is college football is back in a video game format, and that's what matters. After like 11 years, that's what matters.
Jim and Nate are proud owners and players at this point, or gamers, I should say. What is the most challenging part of this game, which a lot of people are saying it is very challenging, and what's a gameplay item that you have been impressed by or like this is cool?
I think defense is the hardest. Like you can't just smash the hell out of a team. I'm sure there are 12-year-olds and 8-year-olds that are just beating the dog piss out of everybody, but for us old guys grabbing the sticks, I think defense is definitely different than what it used to be for us. Is the hardest. I think the cool stuff is like they did pay attention to tradition. Like there are things. I think it's UCF.
Mm.
You can catch like a space shuttle, like send off during a game. Because apparently at one point during a game that actually happened. So occasionally you could see a spaceship be shot. You can hear Ohio State's bell after a win of the victory bell. All those traditions, like there's turnover chains if a team has that. I thought that was really cool. For some reason, I don't know why I'm a band nerd. The uniforms on the bands are not team specific, from what I can tell. I might be wrong. And then the other thing that like sticks in my craw, the coaches aren't in the game. Like I want to see Lane Kiffin, damn it. So bad. But
you
yeah,
can't.
that's
Now,
that's
as a coach, you get to. I'm not sure what game mode you're playing mostly, Jim, but you get to create your own coach yourself.
yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
I play all the game modes. I got ADD, like I can't focus on one mode. But yeah, you can create and there's not a lot of options there, but you can do your best to get to as close as possible.
Nate, what are most challenging for you to this point, and what are some impressive gameplay options that you've encountered?
The kicking is definitely challenging compared to years past.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, especially on the road. So like Jim's point to the traditions, you've seen all the videos going across social media where if you're playing at Penn State, you see the whiteout and Mo Bamba. If you're playing at trying to think what else, like LSU or whatever, you got their traditions there. Everything is just so detailed compared to what it has been. And then obviously the graphics going 11
Oh
years now. It's night and day.
yeah,
I got my brother
absolutely.
to download it today, and he's like, "Oh man, the crowd still looks like shit." I'm like, nobody cares.
Yeah, of all the things that you care about, that's not the one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like even like first game I played with WVU, and like Jim's point again. Third down they play the bell there to like get the crowd hyped up on third down. They do it there. You can hear it in the background. Same thing when they get a first down, you can hear the announcer in the background. It's just all the little things that they got right. And you can also choose which broadcast team you want to play with.
Ah, that's cool.
Which was also kind of weird. Like when I first did the play now, because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have there was a server issue for me because I got it
Oh,
early.
was there?
Well, I had waited so long to like I hadn't played an EA game since they stopped. And they like canceled my EA account and I didn't realize it. But I didn't realize any of that. That's how old in video games I am. So I was like, it must be the servers. No, they just canceled my account. But anyway, um, I was playing now modes and I was like, I can pick my announcers. And I thought, who the hell wouldn't have Kirk Herbstreit play every game?
Yeah.
But now that I've done the dynasty and like I understand big games get Kurt, like if you just let the computer decide, the big games get Kurt, the rest of them get like Jesse Palmer.
Yeah, who is
Oh,
it? It's like
okay.
it's like Palmer, Reese, and Pollock.
Pollock, yeah.
And then if you do the big game, it's Fowler and Herbstreit.
Yeah. That was cool. But I will say in the beginning, if you decide to choose, why would you not just choose Herbstreit for every game?
Yeah.
It's Ohio State and Miami of Ohio. Brought to you by Kirk Herbstreit. Yeah, let me do it.
So you're saying that the CrowdStrike issues impact your gameplay, Jim?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Dumb EA going cold and killing my account after 10 years.
Just all of the flights in America, but not college football.
No.
Remember that, everybody. College football, it's better infrastructure than
Yeah.
the flights around the United States.
I will tell you this much, and this is real talk. I don't know about you, Muff. I know what you do for a living, but in my profession, I saw more grown men wanting to hurry up and get life over with on Friday so they could run home and kick the tires on this game than I ever thought.
Wasn't there a thing like, right, you purchased it, but then you had to you could download it starting at like 4 o'clock,
Yes.
right? It wasn't like you could play it at 4. You had to start downloading it at 4, which I think had some people off some sort of way.
Yeah. I luckily got it early because I paid too much money. But the people who got the regular release were like downloading, like, oh, we can't play. I was like, yeah, you can't. I went through that when I got it early. I was like, it's like I can get it now. I got it a day earlier. They're like, no, you gotta wait. So yeah, that sucks. And if you're an old like school gamer, like who just went and bought the disc, this whole downloading thing was weird for me.
I can't just pop it in and go. Like,
Yeah.
did I buy something? Did I really get this?
Which was also weird for me because I like walked into Target today and they had like a whole rack of NCAA, and I was like, it's full. Like, why is this full? Because every kid in America is now just downloading their games.
Yeah.
Weird after 11 years to see all this.
Nate, did you and or Jim buy any of the add-ons?
No.
You bought a whole new Xbox.
Well, I had to.
That was
That's
required.
how you play the game.
That was required to play. It wasn't an
No,
add-on.
as far
That
as
was
the add-on, no.
Okay. Jim?
I got the early edition. It came with a bunch of add-ons.
Okay.
So, yes, and that's for the Ultimate Team, which is fun. But like once you pay the money for those add-ons, like once I got the additional, like you're gonna have to invest a lot of dough stacks to keep that Ultimate Team going. And that's expensive. Like there's a lot of money you could dump into that. And I'm like, no, forget all that. I mean, a lot. Like if you want a team with Randy Moss and Marshall Falk and the Bosa brothers and all that, you're gonna spend that like $200 just for that.
Have either of you played online against an opponent?
Hell no.
No, and I don't plan on it.
We need that in our lives. We need to hear this.
I don't need an 8-year-old beating me up.
This is exactly what we need to have conversation here. Jim needs to start streaming.
I mean, I'll play with a group of friends. Like there's like Will, guest the show, has started a league that will end up kicking off here soon. Or if like I think I can cross play with Nate, Noah, who's been on the show. We'll probably end up playing, but like random stranger who's like a 12-year-old beating the shit out of me. No.
We need that all day.
No.
I'm gonna go upstairs one day and Nate's gonna be screaming at the TV, and it's gonna be because he's playing you, Jim.
Maybe. I can't see Nate screaming at anybody. I played Nate in college football, the last version, and Nate didn't scream. So, like, I doubt it.
That's what I was got to thinking the other day. It's like it's been that long that I was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
In my dorm room.
Elderly.
It's been that long. That was the last version, right?
Yeah.
Ugh. So many moons ago.
All right. Let's get into some football news, some football, real football, not the gaming football variety. Jim,
Yep.
you have finally reached a conclusion, a decision on your NFL team for this upcoming year.
I have a team for this year.
Is this year?
I have come to consensus that it's just this year.
Okay, so one year deal.
With the rights to earn my fandom another year. And the caveat being, if Harbaugh gets fired, I will probably go back.
I feel like all of this has just been a sham now.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up on that happening.
Right. So it's in limbo. I will be dating the Texans.
Okay, this is bullshit. You did all of this
Yep.
research. You put all of this together.
I can provide you the spreadsheet.
I understand that you did a spreadsheet, but I thought this was for your team, not to date a team to maybe get rid of them after a year. I thought this was like legitimate fandom.
Well, like I haven't even like seen them from the fandom side, Muff. Like, how can I commit to them yet?
This is unfortunate. All right, you just CJ Stroud. Got it. That's why you picked the Texans.
That's not true. I can give you a whole spreadsheet as to why I picked
I
them.
understand that you can manipulate the numbers however you want. CJ Stroud is why you're with the Texans.
That's not true.
Cleveland was in the picture. Like, nah, I can't be a Cleveland fan. Texans were good last year. Oh, we're gonna ride this train. You just
That's
jumped on a
not
bandwagon.
true.
You jumped
That
on a
is not-
bandwagon.
I
Jumped
have
on a
whole
bandwagon.
statistical thing. You can say what you want. I got stats, man.
Who'd your wife want you to have?
We agreed on the Texans.
You agreed on the Texans?
We agreed on the Texans.
You told her the Texans.
No, I gave her the same stats. She said that makes sense.
You gave her the reason why you wanted the Texans. She said, okay.
It all jived, Muff.
Okay. It all jived. Until next year when you're like, nope, we don't want to be the Texans anymore. And she said, okay, who do you want to have? So this is
No,
gonna be
Muff. I will probably. I feel 80% confident I'm going to stick with them.
Okay.
What was the deciding factor in this?
Good question.
Honestly, the jersey colors that I just recently saw pushed it over the edge.
Those being.
They got some dark blue and some all white with some red stripes that I thought were pretty sharp.
Yeah, they just got some new alternate, right? That has like
Yep.
the H on the side.
Big fan.
That was the
Big
deciding factor. What was the primary factor?
The number of Ohio State players, not just
surprise, surprise.
one. Muff, you knew that was going to be a factor. Why is that?
Surprise.
Come on now. Like, what do you want?
You had like 10 different factors there. How was that the one that put it over the top?
I mean, the TV viewership. Also, I feel like I'm going to see more games with them. Okay.
That's fair.
I like their fan base. Very,
You've been to Houston?
they're a very proud fan base. They love their town.
Okay. You JJ
Very-
Watt fan?
I am a JJ Watt fan.
Fair.
They're very loyal to their team and their town. They're like rival Cleveland, I feel like. That's how much pride they have in Houston. Okay. On the bandwagon scale, I'll have you know, where are they at? They fell 23rd.
How?
I didn't make that scale up even. That was a non-biased scale.
No, that was a research scale that you chose the number.
That was Noah and Dusty align those points for those teams.
That's silly.
I didn't even do it.
So you left this decision in other people's hands.
I said, if I join these teams, how bad would I be judged as a bandwagon? And they ranked
they
them
lied
all.
to you. Nate, did
They
they lie to
ranked it.
Jim?
In a way.
They
Thank
lied
you.
to you.
Thank you.
The Texans right now are very much trending in the positive. They should be at least top 10.
That's your opinion, Muff.
That's true.
That's your
That is my opinion. Is that this is just a sham job. It's my opinion.
Well, that's my fandom now.
Okay, Nate, remember this day. Remember this day, 365 days from now, when Jim's like, nope, gotta change it.
It depends on the outcome of the season.
Oh,
No.
Nate just
That's
called
not
you
true.
out. Nate called you out.
That is not how I'm going to determine that.
How are you going to determine it at the end of the season? Say it now so we can come back
It's
later.
solely based on one thing. I've already told you this. That's why I set it up. One factor. If Harbaugh is gone from the Chargers, then I will go back to the Chargers.
Okay.
Everything else, I am Texans.
So 6 years from now, if Harbaugh leaves and the Texans have won 2 Super Bowls, you're going back to the Chargers.
I feel like I can't do that to the Texans. That's not fair.
This is
That's
double
not fair.
standard now. This is double standard.
I'm
We're gonna
saying
pick and
next
choose.
year. I give it a 1-year timeline, Muff.
You're like LeBron James, year-to-year contracts. Just get me what
It's
I
a
can.
1-year situation, Muff.
I know. You're an aging LeBron James. Give me that 1-year contract. In other football news, speaking of people that are looking to get the greener grass on the other side, the 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk has reportedly requested a trade, but the 49ers say they are not going to trade him.
I hope it goes to the Texans. That'd be awesome.
Who do we think is going to blink first here? Nate?
Ayuk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 49ers are not one of those. I mean, either be on a Super Bowl contender, a Super Bowl contender right now, or test the free agency market, or get traded to Cleveland. Like, I don't know. It's going to go to Siberia.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a terrible deal. So
Or the Giants.
Well, no, didn't he say he wanted to go to the Commanders and play with his old college quarterback,
You're correct.
Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, he did say that. Pittsburgh has been rumored in there, but they've been rumored since the beginning. I don't think that's a realistic rumor, but it makes sense that they need another top wide receiver. But the Commanders, I think, is the one that has the most traction. But we'll see. See how long he holds out before he gets whatever he gets from the 49ers. In college football, real college football news, Shedeur Sanders says that Colorado is everyone's Super Bowl.
What the fuck does that mean?
Everyone's looking forward to play them. They're going to give them their best game because everyone wants to beat them, Jim.
Shut the fuck up. That is the dumbest shit.
You two may have also realized that he's the highest rated quarterback in NCAA 2K 2025.
That's great.
He and Carson Beck are the two highest rated. I think they have the same rating. So have you played with Shedeur Sanders yet?
No.
Nope.
But it sounds like Alex right now, just so we're clear.
A bigger question is, you can make a custom conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you leave Colorado in the Big 12? Or do you ship the Colorado somewhere else?
Where would you ship him off to?
You can make the Pac-12 once again. You can redo the Pac-12.
You can reconstruct the Pac-12.
I have both of my dynasties reconstructed the Pac-12.
Are you in the Pac-12?
I am not.
Okay.
Do you have Colorado in the Pac-12?
I have not, but I feel very guilty that I have not shoved them over there.
Who is in your Pac-12? Pac-8, Pac-10, however many teams you have in
all the former.
The traditional teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona teams?
Yeah. Stanford. Yeah. Yeah.
Travis Hunter from Colorado also came out and said that the O-line stats were realistic because the Buffs couldn't block for shit.
That sounds about right.
Between Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, they're just piling on the situation here. And I mean, we're going to get a lot of hype in this first 2 or 3 games, but Colorado could fall flat again.
I like Travis Hunter, though. Like, at least he's real.
So you don't agree that Shedeur Sanders should be one of the top-rated quarterbacks?
I didn't say that either.
I don't think he should be. He didn't prove anything last year.
He said Muff just said one of.
Okay, what about a top 3?
You were on a 4-8 team.
The kid's got talent, though, Nate.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The kid's got talent. Is he one of the top talents? I wouldn't say top 3.
No, I don't.
I mean, so. Deion's calling his shot.
No, yeah.
Who are your top 3?
I mean, I don't know enough college quarterback names.
Hey,
Carson Beck, I can remember. I mean, there's a lot of new faces this year. Quinn Ewers, I think I put him in top 3.
I've been using him on NCAA, and he ain't all that.
I mean, just based on last year's performance, not on video game stats.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we
Because
should
that's the thing, Jim.
I thought this. Well, we were using his ranking on NCAA. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of guys who played well last year that are still in college.
Okay.
I mean, really, this is the top 2 that come to my mind. I mean, DJ, whatever you want to pronounce his name as. I mean, he's okay, but he's on his 3rd school now, 4th school now.
Yeah, he's been a transfer guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the thing is which quarterback this year in real college football is going to step up, because there's a lot of new names and new faces. And the only other guy that
is gone, right? Bo Nix is gone.
Yep.
JJ McCarthy's gone. What about Dylan Gabriel?
He's still at Oregon.
Somehow, 6th year, 7th year.
Michael Penix is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jalen Milroe, Alabama.
Gone.
Milroe's here. Milroe's still there, Nate.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought I saw something about. Didn't he get drafted by the Patriots? I thought late. Or am I thinking somebody else?
He might be the top.
You may be thinking of Tennessee's quarterback last year.
Yeah, Hilton or Hinton.
I think that's who
Milton.
He got injured.
Milton.
Yeah,
Joe Milton.
Joe Milton. Yeah.
I think
Yeah. So Milroe's still there. Hooker from Tennessee's gone.
Yeah.
What about Cam Ward?
I feel like he's got to be gone.
Cam Rising's still around though, right?
Yeah, Cam Rising somehow still around. Garrett Green still WVU.
I mean, maybe Shador is the top 3. Like real talk.
I'm trying to think, because Ohio State's guy is a transfer to State. Garrett Green still's got a shot to be one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12 this year. Pitt, I don't know who they have. I'm trying to think locally. Penn State, they still have Aller.
Yeah.
Dart from Ole Miss.
Dart's up there. I would put Jackson Dart up there.
That's Jim's guy. He's going to put him up there.
The only other name that I can remember is Kate Klubnik from Clemson, because they hyped him up and he had a rough year.
I got a hard time saying the kid's not top 3.
That's fine. If it adds up, it adds up.
Yeah, it's preseason rankings. Nobody cares.
Because, like, here are the top, according to the intranet: Carson Beck, Dart from Ole Miss, Ewers from Texas, Gabriel at Oregon, and Shador's top 5.
Yeah, I put him in 5, not in 3.
I don't know much about that Dart kid.
You don't? He's like your guy.
I mean, I think he was originally a USC guy, then transferred to Ole Miss to go play for Kiffin.
Yeah.
Didn't he get hurt a bunch? If he's not that guy that got hurt a bunch,
he got concussed.
Oh yeah, then I do like that guy.
Yeah, he wasn't concussed, but everyone.
Jim likes those guys with brain.
Right.
Jim's a CTE fan, but we'll see. I mean, Shedeur Sanders is Deion's calling the shot, saying that they're gonna say who he can and cannot play for. So TBD. Other people that are calling their shots, Mike Gundy. A couple weeks ago, told us a lot about himself.
Yeah,
I think we already kind of knew this about Mike Gundy anyway. He spoke out post Oklahoma State running back Ollie Gordon's DUI arrest, saying that he's probably got behind the wheel and driven after 2, 3, 4 beers about 1,000 times. Gordon got that DUI arrest after blowing a .10. Obviously, as we would expect, Gundy got ripped apart for his comments. And obviously, we don't condone the drunk driving situation. But once again, I think this just points to the fact that with NIL, with all of the resources at the disposal of these athletic programs, especially college football, can we not just give these kids a ride? Can we not figure this out somehow?
I agree with that. I agree with that. But there's some other stupid shit we don't have in the notes. But like, there's one kid that just died from cliff diving. There was another kid I just saw. Like, there's some stupid deaths from these kids doing stupid shit. That, like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like the management of college athletes right now is not the best. Between DUIs, deaths, crimes, like some kid at LSU just got arrested for voyeurism because he's recording himself doing the deed with hidden cameras. Like, I don't think the management of these athletes is great.
Well, then isn't there a bunch of guys at Georgia too that keep getting like excessive speeding tickets? Or
Yeah,
something?
that's been a thing over the past like 2, 3, 4 years, right?
Yeah, and it still hasn't gone away.
And then when you have Gundy coming up and saying stupid shit, oh, Utah State had a kid drown. Like,
Well, Utah State's, I think, coaching staff just got decimated for
oh,
other.
because he had he decided to go on
Yeah.
his own and investigate some sexual assaults himself.
Right.
Like, we got some stupid shit.
And you know who looks real smart at the end of the day here? Nick Saban.
Nick Saban, John Harbaugh.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Harbaugh's like, I'll go back to the NFL. There's less headaches up here. Saban, speaking of Saban.
Oh yeah, Saban. I wanted to put this on there. Saban. Saban will not have the field named after him. Not the stadium, but the field. At the Bryant Denny Stadium will have Saban Field inside of it. That's cool to me. Like, I would have never thought, let's name the actual playing field after the guy.
They did do this in basketball. They have like the arena and then the court. So
That's cool.
that is pretty interesting. I mean, Nate just tossed a softball for you there, Jim, and you just didn't even see it coming
I did not. I'm
with
sorry.
that transition.
That's my bad.
All right. Any other football news before we get into the NFC East breakdown?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So our first NFL division breakdown. We'll break down all of the NFL divisions, and then we'll break down the Big 12 and the Big 10 before we get into gameplay at the end of August and the beginning of September for the NFL. So first, we start with the NFC East in the NFL. Last year's standings, the Cowboys were atop the division at 12-5, the Eagles 11-6, the Giants at 6-11, and the Commandos at 4-13. We will start with the Cowboys. We'll go over key losses, key additions, draft picks of note, other players of note, and have general commentary. So starting out with key losses for the Cowboys, they lost running back Tony Pollard, tackle Tyron Smith, cornerback Stephon Gilmore, who I believe is still unsigned, along with safety Jaron Kearse, and Tyler Biadasz. All losses for the Cowboys. They added Eric Kendricks at linebacker, Royce Freeman, and Zeke Elliott at the running back position. Draft picks of note in the first round, they took offensive tackle Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. And the second round, they took Marshawn Kneeland, defensive end from Western Michigan. In the third round, they took a guard out of Kansas State, Cooper Beebe, and linebacker Marist Liafu of Notre Dame. Other players of note, we obviously know at the quarterback position, we have Dak Prescott, who was in a walking boot a couple weeks ago, saying he had soreness in his surgically repaired ankle after a couple hard workouts. I don't think that's normal to be in a walking boot after a couple hard workouts in the offseason.
I think it is if you're Dak Prescott.
That's fair.
You think he's got one of those red mesh jerseys hang up in his locker at all times?
Yeah. I think that, like,
He should.
We had a kid in high school that had one of those.
Jerry says, I think he's walking funny. Let's put him in a boot.
It's like Ben Roethlisberger at this point.
He just tripped a little bit, Jerry. His shoe was untied. Put him in a boat.
Put him in a boot.
I pay that man too much money.
If he comes onto my yacht, he better be in a boot.
Be in a boat.
Other players to note include wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, tight end Jake Ferguson, guard Zach Martin, defensive ends DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, and quarterback Trevon Diggs. So the Cowboys obviously won this division last year. Do we feel that they continue to have a strong case to be the front runner to win it this upcoming year? Nate?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I think they'll contend, but they didn't do enough for me to get better. I mean, yeah, you can say whoever you want about these rookies. I mean, they're technically unproven until I'd say probably week 7 or 8. But like, you think of Jerry Jones and spending money and all this extravagant stadium and stuff, they haven't done jack shit in the offseason.
Aside from create more hubbub about what are they going to do with Dak Prescott in the upcoming years. Are they going to extend him? What are they going to do with him? Is he their quarterback of the now and future? I mean, they lost the running back that they expected to run things out with Tony Pollard, and they brought back Zeke Elliott. Jim, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys?
I think we'll get more of the same. I think they'll come up short. They'll have a great season and come up short. Jerry just needs to give it up. He needs to
Give it up, you mean hit the reset button?
Biden the situation and just bow out gracefully.
Okay. So Jerry needs to remove himself from the equation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He needs to Joe Biden. We record on Sunday, the day that Joe Biden has announced he will no longer be running for the presidency. So there you go. There's our political talk for the day.
I just think that should be a thing. Like
to Joe
Biden my way out of this.
The old guard needs to adopt
Step himself out of this.
All right. Moving on to the Eagles. Second place in the NFC last year. Key losses. Obviously, we have Jason Kelce, who is retired. They lost safety Kevin Byard, tackle Jack Driscoll, linebacker Hassan Reddick, and DeAndre Swift at running back. To offset by key additions of Saquon Barkley coming from the Giants, and in division situation, which is not good for the Giants. Oren Burks at linebacker, Paris Campbell wide receiver, CJ at cornerback, and Devin White at linebacker from your Bucks, correct, Nate?
Correct.
Draft picks of note in the first round, the Eagles took cornerback Quinion Mitchell from Toledo. They also took Cooper DeJean from Iowa in the second round in the defensive backfield. Edge rusher Jalix Hunt from Houston Christian in the third round, and Will Shipley, running back from Clemson, in the fourth round. Joining other players of note, including Jalen Hurts at quarterback, wide receivers A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson on the offensive line, the Georgia Twin Towers and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and Nakobe Dean at linebacker. Jim, how do you feel about the Eagles and what they did in the offseason and how they will compete this upcoming year?
I think it's a very good offseason on the weapon side. I think they've reloaded in a lot of areas they needed, but like, have they addressed the lack of Kelce?
That was my thing. I was thinking that's a huge loss for them.
So like, while I wanted and I followed suit, so not to be like, a weirdo, and I did mark them as probably winning the division. If they don't fix that hole, I don't think they're going to make as good a run as they did last year. I know it's like, I don't want to buy the Kelce fandom, but they got all these weapons and all these great things, and I really think Saquon's going to be huge for them. He might not be if we don't fix that center issue.
So their current starting center is Cam Jurgens, a second-year player out of Nebraska, drafted by the Eagles. So he's been with the team for a year or two, studying under Kelce.
No time to nut up or shut up.
Right?
They put all those eggs in that basket, and they're about to find out. I agree. So that's obviously a hole. Do we think that the tush push is going to continue, or is that a Kelce-led initiative?
I mean, they're going to still try it, but we'll see if it's successful without Kelce there.
I think the need for it will go away with Saquon.
There's a lot of talk about Saquon, right? Coming over from the Giants, he's a viable pass threat to add to the Eagles out of the backfield, and to be determined what the running game looks like. Like he was the offense for the past couple of years with the Giants. We'll see if he has a resurgence, at least as far as not having to be the focal point at all times, especially with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, not allowing teams to load up 7-8 in the box. Other thoughts on the Eagles?
I'd like to see Paris Campbell get some kind of resurgence as an Ohio State homer. Like, I don't want to see him
coming from the Colts, correct? Or was he somewhere else last year?
I think he was with the Colts. I just want to see him do something well before he falls on his sword and leaves.
Nate, last thoughts on the Eagles?
I don't know what they're going to do come Brazil when they can't wear green.
Yeah. There you go. There's our thought from Nate. Moving on to the Giants. Obviously, we've talked about losing Saquon Barkley. They also lost Ben Bredesen along the offensive line, linebacker Cam Brown, safety Xavier McKinney, and Jim's favorite man, the man who got poked in the lung, Tyrod Taylor, is gone from the Giants, Jim. They did add Brian Burns at linebacker, John Runyon Jr. along the offensive line, Devin Singletary coming in to help replace Saquon Barkley at running back, and Isaiah McKenzie from the Bills at the wide receiver position. Draft picks of note include in the first round, they took Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. They took safety Tyler Nubin from Minnesota in the second round, Andrew Phillips from Kentucky, cornerback in the third round, and Theo Johnson, tight end from Penn State in the fourth round. To add to players of note, question mark, Daniel Jones at quarterback, Bobby Okereke at linebacker, and Kayvon Thibodeau also at linebacker.
There's not nearly enough weapons for that team to succeed.
Not only that, but doesn't the O-line suck?
Yes.
I don't see any real strong additions to the O-line at all.
And then you drop off from Saquon to Devin Singletary.
Like, I feel like this is God's practical joke on Daniel Jones.
Well, remember, they had so much money invested in their wide receivers that did shit. Like, they had Kadarius Toney, a lot of money invested in him. I feel like they're still recovering from all of the money they had invested in those skill positions that didn't pan out.
Yeah,
And
like
then,
what's his name from Detroit? They went out and signed. He didn't do anything. Receiver Kenny Galladay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they couldn't hit. Now, hopefully, they have something with Malik Neighbors here, but who's pulling people away from Malik Neighbors if he does come out hot in those first 3 or 4 weeks? People are just going to key on him, and then it's going to be the same thing all over again. Oh, we found the one person on your team that can beat us. It's not Saquon Barkley anymore. It's this guy. And we just load up against that person, and you can't do anything else.
This is gonna be ugly.
Final thoughts on the Giants.
Bad.
Bad. Moving on to the Commanders.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Key losses include Cody Barton at linebacker, Curtis Samuel at wide receiver, Antonio Gibson at running back, and Sadiq Charles along the offensive line. But they bring in a host of names, including Austin Eckler at the running back position, Dante Fowler at defensive end, Bobby Wagner at linebacker, tight end Zach Ertz, center Tyler Biotish from the Cowboys, guard Nick Allegretti, wide receiver Olamide Zacchaeus, and Marcus Mariota to come in to back up, who is supposedly going to be the starting quarterback, in first round pick Jaden Daniels out of LSU. They also pick up Jerzon Newton along the defensive line from Illinois, cornerback Mike Senresti from Michigan, tight end Ben Sinnott from Kansas State, offensive tackle Brandon Coleman from TCU, wide receiver Luke McCaffrey from Rice to join Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, and Jahan Dotson at the wide receiver positions, and Jonathan Allen along the defensive line. We have reason for hope for the Commanders going into this year.
I feel like deja vu. Like, on paper, could be a decent team, but it's the Commanders. So
They definitely
somehow-
get the veteran leadership there now to really start to build a team and a culture there. I really like that hire of Dan Quinn,
Yep.
but I mean, it's not going to be built overnight. Like, I don't think you're going to see success there like the Texans did in year one with D'Amico.
Nope. Somehow they'll fuck this up.
Yeah, they're not fortunate enough to be in a division like the AFC South where everybody was kind of even to begin with. I mean, I don't see Washington taking over Dallas or Philadelphia by any means.
This has got to be a 2 to 4 year build, I think, for them to truly be competitive, unless right? We see a reset button in Dallas. But I think the Eagles are set up for success for at least the next 2 to 4 years. So
I,
I think it's going to be a slow build for the Commanders. This isn't going to be like, here we go.
I can see the Eagles falling apart, but I've been rooting for the Eagles to fall apart for a while. So
I think as long as you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley sitting there, I think you're, at least offensively, you're in a position to at least put up the points. Now, defensively, can they hold on to it? I don't know.
You're right. You're right.
But who knows? I mean, all it takes is 1 or 2 injuries, and you're at the bottom of the division.
That's fair.
Any last thoughts on the Commanders?
I hope for the best here.
We hope.
I don't know why. I just hope for the best.
All right, which brings us to our predictions for the NFC East.
Hold on. Before, I would like to see, I was just giving it some deeper thought. I would like to see, a mid-level performance out of them. And, they get a decent draft pick situation. And then, they make a Texan-style run.
I think they should tank for Travis Hunter.
All right, Muff. I tried to put some deep thought in it, and you shit all over it.
No, I mean, what? Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, Travis Hunter.
What are they missing? Literally, what are they missing?
I don't know much about their offensive line. I don't know much about their defense in totality.
I think their defense will come together under Quinn in probably 2 years or more, 2 or 3.
They need an edge rusher.
Well, they let what's his name? Your Ohio State homer go.
Yeah, he sucks.
He wasn't doing too much overall for them.
They let him go. They let the other defensive end go, who's now with the
Bears, right? Yeah, the Bears.
Defensively,
they're set up, I think, to not lose the game. I don't think their defense is going to win the game. They've got Darren Payne, who's there, Jonathan Allen. They brought in Bobby Wagner, who we all know is on the back end of his career. I think in the defensive secondary, I think is going to be their weak point, or at least their inexperienced point. And when you're playing against the Cowboys and the Eagles right now, I think that they're just going to get eaten alive in the defensive secondary.
All right.
All right. Predictions. Nate, you ready?
I'm ready.
Bring it to us.
Whatever
order you want to go with.
All right. I see the Eagles winning this division, given the additions and Dallas's lack of additions. So give me the Eagles in first place. I'll go 12-5. I'll say the Cowboys will finish around, I'd say, was it 11-6? They'll, like Jim's point earlier, they'll play well, but I don't think they're going to play well enough down the stretch. I mean, unless they go and get someone before the season starts or somebody at the trade deadline to make that team better. And then in third, give me the Commanders at 6-11. I think they're going to struggle a little bit with that rookie quarterback. I mean, the future's bright there. Don't get me wrong with all the additions, the coaching staff, but I think they're going to experience some growing pains, especially early. And give me the Giants to really tank it and go 4-13, or was it 4? Yeah, 17, 4-13.
You got 17 game season. Still doesn't add up to me just yet. I have to think about it. All right, Jim.
I went with the Eagles, and this was my safe conservative. I'll probably get crazier in the other divisions, but this is 12-5 with the Eagles. I went 12-5 with the Cowboys. I want to change that to 11-6 because they're the Cowboys, they'll botch something. So 11-6 with the Cowboys, 7-10 with the Commanders. I'm off. I just screwed yours up. I'm sorry. I did it right the first time. I was looking at yours and wanting to do mine. So I went 12-5 with the Eagles, 11-6 with the Cowboys, 8-9 with the Commanders, and 4-13 with the Giants. Because I don't think a team can go 0 and whatever. I think but
it's not possible in 17 games.
Right.
I mean, new records.
I think it might happen. Who
Records are
knows?
meant to be broken.
Yeah.
I also have the Eagles atop the division at 12-5. I have them tied with the Cowboys, with the Eagles getting the tiebreaker. So Eagles and Cowboys both at 12-5. I have the Commanders at 7-10. I just think they put it together, especially in the second half of the season. And the Giants at the bottom of the division at 5-12. We have an order from Alex. We don't have records, but we have an order from Alex that has Alex putting the Eagles as the winners of the division, and then in a turn of events,
He's
Alex
been drinking.
Alex has the Giants in second place in the NFC East this year, followed by the Cowboys and the Commanders in last place. Alex may or may not be inebriated, which is leading to the Giants finishing somehow in second place in the NFC East this year.
He's drunk.
So that is our breakdown of the NFC East. Next week, we will break down the AFC East. Getting into the AFC divisions. We are also maybe have some Olympics to talk about next week. Not football related, but the Olympics will be there.
Get excited.
Get pumped. That brings us into other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting news in sports.
Starting in the WNBA, the W, as Team WNBA took it to the Olympic team over this past weekend as part of WNBA All-Star Weekend. After all the talk, specifically about Caitlin Clark and other NBA rookies not having the opportunity to represent the USA, do we think the Olympic roster and Team USA will regret this decision?
Yes. No, they're still going to win gold. But
That's
they look silly.
by not including
Yes.
Clark and other rookies, right? I mean,
Yes.
and not just Clark, but there's other rookies that could have been at least in the running to be a part of that team.
Yeah, whenever you lose to your country's so and so B team,
Does not bode well.
no.
Positive news in the WNBA, they inked a $2.2 billion media rights deal spread out over 11 years. But women's great Cheryl Miller says it's not enough. She says, quote, "Not enough, not even close." She says, "Now I'm not trying to inflate it a whole lot, but a 2's nice. An 8 would be better." That's what I'm talking about, because they know, and we certainly have come a long way. Do we think that the WNBA should have got more money out of a media rights deal?
Yes. But I mean,
I don't know
see
what their
why they didn't.
previous is, but I'm sure this is much better than they've ever had.
Yes. I mean, this is the thing. This is one of those, take it now while you can get it, or hold out and maybe
And
get
roll the
something
dice.
more. Right. And I think
Yeah.
that's right now, I think for the WNBA, it's best to have a solid deal. I mean, this is over the next decade plus. Like, in 3, 4, 5 years, you may not have this opportunity again. So
And
take
there's
it.
probably like bailouts in the middle of it. Like,
Yeah.
I would hope, or like they really suck at managing their shit.
They need to start having the NBA's lawyers
Right.
start looking at this stuff if this is an issue after 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Jim, some WNBA thoughts?
Yeah, there was the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And my girl, Angel Reese, finished with 12 points and 11 rebounds and became the first rookie to record a double-double in an All-Star game. Clark had a quiet night with 4 points, but recorded yet another game with a double-digit assist with 10 of those. Cool thing, Clark found Reese under the basket for a layup early in the third quarter, and they high-fived as they were running back to play defense.
After the game, I mean, Caitlin Clark has, I don't think ever that I have heard spoken negatively about Angel Reese. And I'm not saying Angel Reese has spoken negatively about Caitlin Clark, but I think Reese came out and was like, "Hey, yeah, this is cool. Like, this is going to be a good thing for the league and Team USA in the future."
I think this is a Magic versus Bird situation. And I hope for the love of God, WNBA plays it that way. And can they just grab the brass ring? And if I do the recon, listeners, friends of the Bird Magic rivalry and how they played that up and like captivated audiences. Because they didn't like each other, but eventually they loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but
Yeah.
that hatred played out so well.
Jim, do you remember what brought them together? The dream
We're
team.
gonna go with that. Okay.
The dream team.
Thank you. Thanks.
Which would have been playing in the Olympics together, which was an opportunity this year.
No,
for the
but we
WNBA.
don't want them to go. You don't want them to come
We
together.
need to stew on this for 4 years.
Yes.
Jim, we all know how attention is going to be gone.
We know it. If they play it right, Muff.
You've got to stay invested in the WNBA for 4 more years, Jim. You going to do that?
With the right marketing? Yeah, you can do it.
That's
you can
gonna be
do
tough. Angel Reese did set a double record, and Caitlin Clark set a WNBA assist record. So they're both staying very relevant within the statistics category, not just as rookies, but as players across the league.
You could have one Instagram post this next year and a couple ESPN, the magazine body issues, and the world's on fire.
That gets us through the next 1 or 2 years, Jim. We got to get 4 years, though.
I just got you halfway home, and that was a simple thought.
All right.
Drop a Cardi B song in there.
Well, you don't need Cardi B when you got Flo J, Jim.
Whatever it takes,
that's an LSU tie, buddy. That's there. It's done.
Let's just let it roll.
She wrapped at the ESPYs, and
let's go.
I think they're getting a little too in deep, a little too quick.
Put Pat McAfee on there, and
well, he's not allowed to talk about Caitlin Clark anymore.
Okay.
Do you know why, Jim?
No.
Look that up.
Are we still back on what he said before?
Yes.
Oh man.
Which is hilarious. It's not hilarious that he said it. It's hilarious that we'll say people in the media can't get past that because he's in Indiana.
I can't believe we're still talking about that.
Right? He's like the ultimate person that could put Caitlin Clark further over when you think about wrestling terms, right? And help talk up the WNBA, but he's been made a pariah in that whole situation. So I think you got another year before he starts talking about the WNBA again. And they're going on break. They're going on like a 4 to 6 week break for the Olympics, which you're not going to hear about Caitlin Clark because guess what, Jim? She's not playing in the Olympics. Or Angel Reese because she's not.
What if they both showed up in Paris to watch?
Oh, they probably will.
See what I mean? Got to push that hype, son.
They should. Nate, WNBA thoughts?
It's not basketball season in my mind in the summer.
Fair.
I mean,
is it basketball season in the winter?
Yes.
Okay.
Even though I'm not a basketball guy by any means of the imagination, basketball is a winter sport.
Moving into a sport that is in the summer, baseball. Alex isn't here today, but we can say that the Pittsburgh Pirates reached the All-Star break at 500 and won their first series post-All-Star break against a first-place Phillies team. I need a guess from everybody. The Pirates going to be over or under 86 wins?
Let's say, where are they at right now? They finished 48 and 48 in the first half. I don't know. I think they fall apart, honestly, because they're not going to add anything at the break. I mean, let's just be real. So I think 86 might be a push.
A push? So right about 86, Jim? That would make them 86 and 76 for the season, Jim, just so.
Under
86. I mean, I'm going to say under, just historically speaking, but be hopeful that it's going to be over and they get into the playoffs somehow.
That's fair.
For the Pirates, they had Paul Skeens start the All-Star game. He didn't let up any runs with only 1 walk. which ended his inning ended with a anticipated matchup against Aaron Judge from the Yankees. That lasted one pitch. But it's a good thing for the Pirates to get that exposure for Paul Skeens to, as many are saying now, be the front runner for Rookie of the Year, and be one of the top 3 pitchers in baseball. Nate, do you agree that Skeens right now is a top 3 pitcher in baseball?
With the way he's performed, absolutely.
Yeah. Going into the break, Skeens became only the 4th pitcher since 1893 to record 10 strikeouts and no hits in multiple outings in a season. He did that in half a season, which in his most recent outing prior to the All-Star break, he was pulled after, I believe it was 7 innings of no-hit ball. And the decision to pull him from that game was insert your thoughts on what that was at that time. Jim, pulling Skeens after 7 no-hit innings before the All-Star break was
You what?
silly, dumb.
I don't give a shit.
Nate, real thoughts?
Real thoughts, I think it was to save his arm because, again, coming from college baseball, this is his first real season in professional baseball. I mean, yeah, of course, every fan wants to see him go out there and try to get the no-no. But again, he's at like 90-some pitches through 7. Odds of getting through 9, honestly, probably weren't high. But again, it's one game. Sure, would have loved to see it happen, but you got to be smart, especially whenever you got 2 guys already on IL that are starters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just being smart and looking out for the player's best interest in his longevity, his career, and let alone this season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, nobody likes, it's not a popular decision, but you got to look for the next 5 years and not the next 6 months. Nate, I know she's your girl, but Livy Dunn, not a fan of hers because she's already talking about him going back to the Angels.
I mean, do you blame her? I mean, the Angels aren't a team I would want to go play for right now.
Hey, Skeens is from California. I mean, I get that whole thing, but let's wait at least 2 seasons before we start talking about where he's going to go next. The All-Star game happened. The American League won, which included also the Home Run Derby, which obviously happened. There was much talk about the national anthem and a new format in the Home Run Derby. Did we watch any of the All-Star, the MLB All-Star festivities, and what were our thoughts?
I didn't catch a single pitch.
Jim, I'm going to assume that you didn't.
I didn't even know it was on.
Bingo. That's what I was more curious with Jim, is he even knew that it happened. I watched some of the Home Run Derby. They switched the format in the first round. It was the top 4 go through out of the 8. It was 3 minutes of there was a pitch count, but it was 3 minutes of just go, go, go. They got 1 timeout, and then they had like a bonus ball thing at the end. And then I tuned out because it was just without the head-to-head matchups, it wasn't as entertaining to me. The biggest to-do of the Home Run Derby was Ingrid Andress, who sang the national anthem, and it was unfortunately one of the poorest renditions I've ever heard. And she came out the next day and said that she was drunk whenever she sang it, and she was going into rehab. Which not the best situation, but I now understand why it was terrible. Either of you see any of that on the Twitter or Instagram situation?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jim?
Nope.
I don't know how you didn't reach that on your TikTok, Jim.
Sorry, buddy.
Didn't get there. Any other
I
thoughts
think
on
TikTok knows avoid baseball on my algorithm.
on your algo? It's no good.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on baseball going into the second half of the season, Nate?
I wish it was over.
I'm curious to see who makes the first splash trade.
It is. That usually is a big deal. I don't keep up with who's the names on the block, but it's usually one of those middling teams that wants to make a run that makes it.
Yeah, I think watching the Pirate game today, I think they said there's 9 days left till the trade deadline.
Yeah. So we'll see in the next week. In the golf world, the Open Championship at Royal Troon in Scotland had Xander Schauffele take home the Claret Jug after a great Sunday performance, becoming champion golfer of the year and winning his second major of this PGA season. This ends the majors for the PGA for this year. They're going into the Olympics with only the FedEx Cup winner to be crowned as far as major situations in the golf world. Anybody watch any of the Open Championship aside
Caught
from
the
me?
very tail end of it today.
It's windy. It was rainy on Saturday.
Yeah, when I turned it on, I looked at my brother. I go, "Where the hell are these guys playing? Why is everybody in long sleeves?"
They were in Scotland.
Yeah, found that out.
Jim, would you ever play golf in Scotland just to say you did it?
Yes.
That's one thing you would do.
Yeah.
Golf,
Oh, yeah.
golf related. Is that like the one thing you would say? I want to do this in golf just to say I did it.
Oh, yeah.
Good, good.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of this conversation right now about is Xander Schauffele or Scotty Scheffler going to be the player of the year in the PGA Tour. Xander has 2 major wins. Scotty is on a Tiger-like tear for the season. More to come in the next 2 to 3 months on what that'll look like at the end of the season. But I think it'll be interesting to go out the rest of the year.
Well, we
My
got to
vote
see
is
Scotty's
Scotty.
health. Didn't like Scotty pull his back late?
Yeah, there was something there. I mean, I would have expected him to probably take a week or 2 off after this tournament anyway. But yeah, that was a little troubling. I saw that shot where that supposedly flared up for him. So
Yeah, like as soon as he shot the ball or whatever, like he just dropped the club.
yeah, he did that a couple times, but there was this particular tee shot that was very poor that I think brought it to light entirely.
Mhm.
So we will see. Jim, just because I want to hear what you have to say about this, Jake Paul fought. Jake Paul won.
That happened. Like, then he called out Mike Tyson. Then Conor McGregor fired the guy that fucking, because they're partners in the bare knuckle boxing. So Conor McGregor went in on Jake Paul and fired the fighter that lost. And really, like, the fight game is a joke. A joke. And then there's insinuation that Jake Paul is all juiced up and roided out.
Ugh, Connor was all on that.
And it's like, Connor, do you forget all those things you stick in your butt, buddy? Like,
Is he an Aaron Rodgers stuff? Is he using the
Or
crystals?
is it
possibly.
for 12?
I just think the nose candy is
He's butt chugging proper 12, Nate.
Yeah. I think the nose candy's blocking out some of the things that he's injected in himself. Cause like I saw Roadhouse. Like that's not natural, son.
Jake Paul didn't he have like a 20, 30-pound weight advantage over with Mike Perry? Was that the guy's
Yeah.
name? I mean, that was part of it. I understand this guy filled in late, but
And then like Jake Paul wants to call out Mike Tyson. Like, God, like
I mean, at least he's setting up the next matchup. I mean, it's supposed
he's
to
a
happen.
promoter. He does what he wants to do. Like he's smart.
From a business perspective, Jake Paul he's top tier. It's the only, I think, legitimate fighter he fought was Tommy Fury, correct? And he lost. What do you think from a boxing perspective?
Yeah, he will never see a dime of my money. Ever.
Even if he fights Mike Tyson?
Nope.
I feel like
Nope.
that might be a late night impulse buy.
No, he will never see a dime of my money.
No, all you gotta do is go find someone who's live streaming on TikTok.
Yep.
That's also true.
I think boxing is just that failed sport at this point. It's dead.
DED dead, huh?
Yep. Which is sad.
All right. Let's get into some basketball news. Shout out to former D2 Wheeling University basketball star Haywood Highsmith for securing a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Miami Heat.
Good on him.
Local flair to the basketball segment here. The USA men's Olympic team almost lost to South Sudan in a warm-up action. I have a feeling this Olympic team could get ugly quick, and we are going to be begging for the next dream team as far as U.S. men's basketball in the Olympics. What do we think the men's basketball team is going to do? They win gold? Win a medal?
Yeah, I mean they'll win.
They'll win gold?
I mean, they'll definitely medal. I mean, it's like every year they are expected to win gold, but it just depends if they show up.
I agree. And some of the biggest news in the basketball world, which is why we're saving it for next to last, Bronny James is playing in the Summer League. Jim, have you watched any Summer League basketball with Bronny James? Because it's
No.
easier to find than WNBA.
No. No interest.
Bronny James, I believe, was like 0 for 15 from 3-point, had very, very pedestrian statistics throughout his Summer League action. Do we think that Bronny James is going to see any action with the Lakers to play with LeBron this year?
Maybe
I'm
late
sure.
season.
Yeah, they'll roll him out there.
Late in the season, Nate, or is this an early in the season because you don't want to bring him out late in the season if they're in a playoff hunt?
No, they're gonna bring him out late in the season because they won't be.
Okay. I like those thoughts, Nate. I like those thoughts. And lastly, in soccer world, the U.S. men's national team fired Greg Berhalter after a pitiful showing at the Copa America. He was fired previously and then rehired this World Cup cycle, and in an expected outcome, he was fired again. Would either of you, if offered large enough sums of money, ever be interested in coaching soccer for the United States men's national team?
No.
Sure.
What is the number that it would require you to have, Jim?
I would do it for like 100K.
You would do it for 100K
Yeah.
for how long of a contract?
A year.
A 1 year, 100K. So this is like your fandom.
Yeah.
We'll do it for 1 year, 100K. Would you do it for 3 years, 250K?
Yeah.
What would be your coaching strategy?
Kick the ball.
Jim, you might get fired before your contract was up.
Oh, it'd have to be guaranteed.
Oh, well, now we're getting NFL numbers here.
I
You want to
still-
be an NBA player in an NFL deal.
I mean, I'm giving up my job to go coach some people kick a ball and run like crazy. Like, yeah, you're gonna pay me.
First off, I think you're lowballing the number.
Well, yeah, well, duh. They know what they're getting when they get it.
Nate, is there a number that would make this appealing to you?
No.
Nate, true to his word. Give me 600K.
I don't think you'll get the job. What do you know about soccer, Muff?
More than you, Jim.
I don't think they're gonna hire you. You have no soccer experience.
And you do?
I'll just say I'm good at managing people, and they'll be like, "Oh, 100K."
That's the kicker.
No, there's just so much pressure on them to win. And again, it's what did I say before? Like America's number 4 sport, no higher than 4.
Yeah. And this comes back to, right, the USA lost in Copa America. Is there gonna be a time, I would just say in the next 20 years, where some of the top athletes in the United States consider soccer as a sport?
No.
No, I mean, just like I said before with Canadians and hockey, that's their thing. Other countries, soccer is their thing. Unless there's some change overnight, I don't see the USA being a huge soccer country. Like, we're going to stick to football, we're going to stick to basketball, and we're going to stick to baseball. And I don't even think baseball's at the top like it used to be. You see all these international players coming over and just dominating. Like, you look at Ohtani for an example. Like, yeah, we're still going to call it America's pastime. We're still going to majority of the players. But I mean, I would say USA is a football, basketball country right now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and this is supposed to be for the United States soccer team. This is supposed to be like the golden generation. I mean, we've probably been hearing that. At least Jim and I have been hearing this probably for the last 20, 30 years. Like, this is the generation that's going to put United States men's soccer on the map.
I am going to be the Ted Lasso if you hire me.
I think that's your most compelling pitch yet.
That's what I'm going to be. I will be Ted Lasso.
All right. Jim's going to be the Ted Lasso for United States soccer. Nate's going to be the...
I'll actually hire Nate as my assistant.
You think I'll just be like Will Ferrell of Kicking and Screaming?
I think you would be the best assistant soccer coach And like we would complement each other so well. It would be great. We should actually apply.
We should.
Yep. And then we make Muff our analytics guy.
He'd be our Jonah Hill for Moneyball.
Yeah. And then Alex can be the trainer. What are we doing? This
I
is
don't.
perfect.
Why is Alex a trainer? Alex is going to. I mean, Alex is going to tell him to go out and drink, which, to be honest, is like a pure soccer hooligan thing to do.
Exactly. This is what we should do. We should do this. Why are we not running a club team just to
get
in
it
on the
out?
ground level?
Well, there is the soccer tournament, TST, which it's not till next summer. We could put that together. We'd be rivaling, Pat McAfee. He's got a team.
But we don't play.
Oh, Pat McAfee played for like 2 minutes. That was it.
We just coach the team.
I think he was a bankroll in the end.
And all we do is I just scream at things. And then Nate actually comes up with some plays. And you tell us what works behind the scenes, hey, that guy's not kicking a lot. And I'm just hey, Mom says you're not kicking a lot.
Kick better.
And Nick goes, we should switch him out for this guy. That's
brilliant. Then Alex is replacing the water bottles with Busch Light.
This is the best.
Busch Light Peach on a good day.
Yeah. You scored a goal, you get the peach.
Oh. And that's the
Jim,
pitch.
what would be the goal celebration?
Flipping people off.
I was going for the DX suck it.
Yeah, the crotch chop. We'd have a haka though first.
You could put that together. I don't know if that's the United States. I don't think that's as intimidating coming from the US.
It would be from our team.
We have to put together a Mighty Ducks when you get the Bash Brothers in there somehow.
But all of our players are skinny. There's a weight limit for our team.
Is this race car drivers or jockeys?
Jockeys. In fact, we're going to hire a bunch of jockeys to be on our team.
Who's your goal? Is the goalie the opposite? The largest?
The goalie's a damn sumo wrestler.
The largest human you can find.
Yeah. This is how we play soccer. This is good soccer talk right here.
Who's your striker, Jim? Who's the goal scorer?
A jockey, a real quick jockey, bobs and weaves.
What's your theory and strategy on defensive prowess?
If they're getting past you, hit them.
All right. Nate, you on board with this strategy?
What the hell? Why not?
That's why he's the best assistant.
We got to do this, coach. Whatever he said, that's what you're doing.
See? That's why he's perfect.
Alex, go run. How do you get better in soccer? Just keep running, guys.
Just keep running.
What's the light at the end of the tunnel? The 6-pack.
Yep.
Pedialyte for now, and then when we're done running, Busch Light.
All right. If you want to be on our club team competing in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, let us know. We can try to put it together for some tournament. I don't know what it's going to be for. We'll figure it out. But you can come play for us.
Practice ends when Alex finishes a case. So good.
All right. And if you throw up, what happens?
Start over.
If you turn the ball over, is this it's like Petey from Remember the Titans? How many feet are in a mile? You're gonna run every last one of them until you don't lose the ball, Petey.
Yep.
Ball's the program. Program is the ball. Get on board with our team. What's the team going to be called? Is it Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, or do we have a cool name?
Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Is this Field Club, Soccer Club? What are we calling ourselves? FC Field Club. And what is our nickname?
I don't know, Muff. You're
The
putting me on the
degenerate.
spot.
There we
The
go.
degenerates, yeah.
Bingo. Yeah, I mean that goes in a lot of different ways. Betting, alcoholism.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Love it. So
All right. If you want to be part of the team, let us know. Get in the DMs at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. And all you have to do in order to get on this team, to be along for this ride, is to tell a friend, make a friend, be